Welcome back to the channel, and today I want to do a comparison but not a review of the Injora blue inserts versus Zero RC green inserts, so stay tuned. The first thing you really notice are basically the same design in terms of layout of the ribs and the construction. These are both 1.9 size with I believe it's over. These are about 100. No, these are 111, and yeah, they're same size, same exact diameter. But there are some differences which I wanted to cover, which may or may not be beneficial for you. I just wanted to highlight the differences between the two. One of the main differences between the two is the wall thickness. The Injora is rated for 6 to 10 pound vehicles, and the Zero RC is 4.4 to 8.8. The wall thickness is more substantial on the Zero RC than the Injora, which actually they don't quite measure up. This is a lot stiffer, as I'll show you later. On the inside, we have approximately a little about 24, and I believe the Injora are the same here. They are both pretty much the same, but the main difference is the way this edge is here and the contact patch between the two. On the Injora, we're looking about 22 millimeters on the contact patch between the tire and the insert, with a taper off to the edge. The overall width of the Injora looks to be, let me scoot it over, about 30, maybe about 37, 36 millimeters. On the other hand, this is another main difference. The contact patch on the Zero RC looks to be about 30 millimeters, but it has less of a shoulder for your tire. So even though they're very similar, the difference between this is substantial. There's also ribs on here to give it a little extra stability or traction. I'm not sure what you want to call it, but those are the two differences depending on the tire. This one could be an advantage over this one. It all depends on what you're looking for. The Injora insert weighs about 71 grams. Sometimes it fluctuates between 71 and 72, versus the thicker wall Zero RC insert comes in at 79, 78 grams, so that extra material does add a little more weight. To give you an idea of the compliance, I'm going to put this on the scale and compress the insert. So we're going to start off here with the Injora, just find a spot, 71 grams, and we're going to compress it, and we're looking about 1800 grams to compress it. And then Zero RC, it'll stay 79 grams, and then I'm going to compress it. We're looking at about 2000 to compress the insert. So even though they're basically supposedly the same range, the amount of compression on the Zero RC is a lot higher, even though this is for 6 to 10 pound vehicles for the Injora versus the 4.4 to 8.8. One last thing is actually how they fit into a tire. These are the Red Cat Ascent tires. I took these off stock rims. So we have our Zero RC and our Injora blue. Obviously on the side lug we do have a little more give because of that shoulder is a little bit bigger on the Injora versus the extra fill that we get off the Zero RC. So this is going to have a wider contact patch, and the profile of the tire here versus here, it seems like the Injora has a little bit more roundedness than the Zero RC. This seems like a little flatter profile, especially around the edges. If you can see that, it's just more squared off, where this has a little bit of rounding off there. And our side view, you can see what I was talking about. Even though the contact patch is wider here, it lends to a flatter profile of the tire versus a slightly rounded version of the Injora on the same tire. The Injora is slightly wider in terms of the tire itself, just maybe like a millimeter or two. So it's not really a right or wrong. It depends on your needs. These Zero RC is a lot firmer compared to the blue, so you could mix and match these. I'm going to start running these, break them in, and maybe trim them, or maybe mix and match, put the blues in the front and the greens in the rear since they're a little bit stiffer. So like I said, this is not really a review, it's just a comparison between the two. I hope you like this, so thanks for watching.